Wherever you are around the world, strap on tightly and enjoy the ride. Nine rounds of wheel-to-wheel action, 28 drivers. This is the iRacing Rallycross World Championship. It's a pleasure to have your company as we enter the closing months of 2020 and the closing rounds and races for our all-star talent. Welcome along to this venue. How beautiful does it look? It's Phoenix Raceway, located in Avondale, Arizona, and that's virtually. And it hosts the 7th and penultimate round of the 2020 iRacing Rallycross All-Star Invitational presented by Yokohama. All coverage today on the iRacing Esports Network. We're back. Paul Smith is below me, and you're at the venue, Paul, it looks like.
Yeah, glorious day. Little cloud here and there in the sky, but yeah, it's absolutely stunning here.
Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it? I think you need to put some sunscreen on, mate.
Yeah.
Because over in the UK, it's completely different weather for you. Now, good afternoon, good night, good evening. Could be good night if I had a look behind me, and it's completely pitch dark here in Australia. Completely different parts of the world, Paul. This is the beauty of virtual coverage.
Yeah, it is. Having not just the competitors coming from around the world, but also ourselves as well. You know, one of us in the dark in the north of England, and one in the dark down in Australia.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to light up throughout the broadcast, so keep note of that. I reckon in about 2 hours' time, it'll be complete morning sunshine. But we've got our All-Stars back here today. Now, the championship looks like it's probably in Scott Speed's hands.
Yeah. 5
rounds count for the drivers, your best 5 rounds. They drop any other 4 rounds after that. But he's been the man to beat, but Sage Karam's look consistent. Andreas Backerud's come in late. We don't think he's going to win the championship, but you never know. And don't forget Connor Martell, the young man who's been very quick in rallycross machinery.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Connor. I certainly have with his ability behind the wheel. So, yeah, Connor Martell's done a fantastic job. Andreas Backerud, he's been in and around. He's not quite had the out-and-out pace that Scott Speed has, but he's certainly been quite consistent out there. But it's been great. It's been fun to see these All-Stars here taking part in this event.
Yeah, definitely. We've had Travis Pastrana competing with us throughout the season. We've had quadriplegic drivers. We've had World Rally drivers as well from the World Rally Championship in WRC. Completely different to Rallycross. It's similar, but anyway. And we've also had some touring car drivers, TCR drivers, motorsport journalists. And I'm going to stop there because we've had a multitude of drivers here join us. We're going to have more here today racing. We have got a track for you at Phoenix that is 1.22 kilometers in length, 0.76 miles depending on your units of choice. Now, there's 9 corners around a circuit that held championship weekend for NASCAR in 2020. As early as this year, it switched from Homestead, and it will return, as far as we know, in 2021 as championship weekend. It's a 54% asphalt, 46% dirt split. The Joker Delta time is a shortcut at our North American venue, 3.9 seconds, and the Joker entry is located parallel to the jump just after turn 4. The exit is all the way at turn 8. That's been adjusted over the years, but the challenge the drivers have been talking about, Paul, is the entrance onto the jump, which can cause some problems.
Yeah, it's quite a tricky entrance to the jump, isn't it, Jonathan? The World Championship drivers especially have to balance that out, and with these invitational, the All-Star Invitational, they've maybe not got the same amount of time to be able to put in as practice for this event, but they'll certainly be finding the where works, where doesn't work. But yeah, getting your line right is crucial onto the jump.
Yeah, it certainly is. This is a very tough layout, and it's a driver's favorite too. You can see we actually use part of the dog leg here in a sense. There's 10 degrees of banking on that oval. It's a very difficult braking zone. We're expecting lap times around the 35 to 36 second range when our sim racers in their World Championship, they compete for $25,000 of series cash and prizes. They'll be on in just under an hour's time after our All-Stars here today. But we're going to head into qualifying at Phoenix for the first time. And we've got some new drivers out there in the field. I say drivers plural, but new driver in Michael Lewis. He's driving the 198 Subaru here today. Now, he races for Brian Herder Autosport. The 29-year-old speaks English and Italian. He's a tall 6'5" driver. I'm not sure how he fits into a race car. Reminds me a lot of some many tall race car drivers out there, including the late Justin Wilson. But most importantly, Paul, look at his name. It's Michael. It's Lewis. He shares the name of two drivers who have 14 Formula One World Championships to his name. And he was awarded a Formula One test drive. He got to drive Ferrari's 2009 F1 car, and he earned that by earning Rookie of the Year honors in Italian F3 around a decade ago.
Yeah, not Ferrari's finest work is that car, but still, it's a heck of a vehicle to get to have a drive in, and so yeah. That was an incredible opportunity for him then. It's a bit of a tenuous link, that, Jonathan, I will say, about the name thing. But yeah, we're seeing these drivers out there in practice here, and well, we're on board with Michael Lewis right now.
Yeah, Michael Schumacher, Lewis Hamilton, he won't be bothered by any of those guys. He's in his own world. He's won championships in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge and the Pirelli World Challenge too. And here is the entrance onto the jump. I thought he was going to whack it into the tyre wall. Look how difficult it is, Paul. He's already butchered this lap, but he's made a travesty of this run.
He's pulling it over. He's had enough there. He knows that he's ruined that lap. But it just goes to show how difficult it is to get your line right through the jump. So we'll go on board here with Conor Martel and look at it again. You've got to be careful not to hit the inside wall when you're going through the left-hander. Try not to cut too much of the left there. Get the back end swung around. Hug a tight line through here because you need to keep it nice and tight. So it opens up the exit of the corner. Get it nice and straight so you take that across the finish line.
Conor Martel has been the only other pole sitter apart from Scott Speed in the series. Scott Speed's promoted himself to second, Martel in fourth. That is a great lap time from Michael Lewis. When we're riding on board with him, he didn't seem like he was setting a fast lap time at all, but he certainly sprung up the timesheets, and Martel is going to have another opportunity here. The track seems to be in decent condition. There isn't really a line there. You can see, Paul, our Sim Racers Championship later on, the track is expected to be very worn in qualifying. These drivers have got a lot of dirt to deal with here in the final sector. Yeah,
so they need to clean up the track there, give themselves enough grip there through the track. But yeah, these drivers, even though they're limited with how many laps they have, they get 3 laps in qualifying. Some of them will just carry on driving, get as much practice in as possible for this first race here.
So will Sage Karam be the third recipient, I should say, of the Yokohama Pole Award? We'll find out. Scott Speed's wrapped up that trophy for the season. And here is Martel for another run. We think the tyres are too worn here to improve. I don't think he's going to promote himself, but he will start near the front in the heats. It's a very unique grid. Oh, no, have a look at that. So has someone else gone up the sheets, Paul, I think? No,
what I will say, however, Andreas Backerud has not set a lap time at all. And he had his 3 laps. So he's gone out there, done some qualifying, but has not been able to set a lap time. So he must have either cut courses too much or had contact with a wall or things like that. So definitely something has gone awry there for Andreas Backerud.
Yeah, certainly, but it's an inverted top 10 for the feature, so you think as long as he makes the feature, he could start from the front, and he could potentially win it. We saw what happened in Wine Country at Sonoma a couple of rounds ago, and that's our final round in a fortnight's time. So this isn't the final round, but it's critical for the championship. We'll wrap up all of that here in the All-Stars in a couple of weeks' time too. We don't know how the championship's going to work with all the drop rounds, but we think Scott Speed's in good position. But we'll wait and see anyway. And we also have some other drivers you may have seen on the list. Tim Stevens returns. He's been very quick. Chris Atkinson, who's raced in GRC too. Scott Speed actually has 6 Sprint Cup race appearances here at Phoenix. That was around the oval though. Rallycross is a completely different. Heat number 1 today. And Yokohama Pole Award will go to Sage Karam, who starts from the front. He'll be alongside Connor Martell. Now, the unique part about this grid is that it's a 2x3 by 2x3 grid. If we have a 10-car field, we've only got 6 here today, so it means the second row will include Swindell alongside Mason Filippi, who is teammates with Michael Lewis. Chris Atkinson will start on the second row on the outside, and then Mario Bonfanni Jr. all on his own at the back. It's about a 300-meter run from the start-finish line here, which is parallel to the main straight as they enter the oval banking and then into the first braking zone. Slight opportunity for some overtakes. We go green for the first time around Phoenix. Good jump from Karam. We think he's going to defend the lead from Martell. There's contact between the two. Everyone's getting a bit restless here. They all bottleneck into the first few corners. Bonfanni Jr.'s made a mockery of the braking zone. And just like he did at Lucas Oil, he's caused a bit of carnage there. So now down the back of the pack, it's Karam from Martell. No one takes the Joker, I think, the first time round.
That does surprise me that nobody's taking the Joker there. So, yeah, everybody's staying out there on the track. And we see that Martell just ahead of Filippi. So, second place isn't secured yet, that's for sure. Sage Karam is already checking out up at the front there. But, yeah, end of lap 1 then. No Jokers. Interesting to see how they get on. Do they take the Joker this time round? Sage Karam is going to be staying on track.
Well, we just heard from Race Control that they just notified the drivers pre-race not to take the Joker lap 1. So it's been a quick last-minute thing for this event. Might continue on for the next few heats. We just saw a Joker there from Connor Martell, who will take the lead. It's a 3.9-second shortcut, and he appears ahead of Sage Karam. Now, you'd think this lap round, Paul, Sage Karam would want the clear air to his name.
Yeah, he's got to take that straight away now. Once he responds to that, then he'll be able to have a big gap at the front of the field. So expect to see Sage. There you go. He's blending off into the Joker lap. And look at the speed that they could carry into that. You've got to be careful here, though, because that wall, it's very inviting on the outside of the Joker.
Now, for those who may be new to Rallycross coverage on iRacing, that's the graphic on the left-hand side of screen. When it lights up, it means the driver's taken the Joker, and just like Karam and Mason Filippi, it'll update as they cross the finish line just then, and you'll see the light. Bang. There it is. And now IndyCar driver continues away. How beautiful is this? We get to see Sage Karam on a virtual service, despite all his experience in IndyCar. He's had some Rallycross experience too. He's raced in ARX 2 machinery, and he hopes to continue for Dreyer and Reinbold too in that Wick Subaru sometime in the future, as both he and Martell should advance coming out of this heat. So only the top 2 advance to the feature, and they will start from the back because it's an inverted top 10.
Yeah, so it's that poison chalice of, yeah, you want to win every race that you're in, but you're going to be starting further back in that feature. So definitely going to be tricky to see how they get on there. But these two at the front, they've just been the class of the field in this opening heat.
Certainly have. Final lap of Heat 1. It's been a quick one. And that Joker wall, we'll talk about that later on in the coverage. We just saw a last-minute Joker there from Chris Atkinson, which should promote him ahead of Mason Filippi. And same for Kevin Swindell. So Connor Martell will advance. Sage Karam wins the heat, which is good for him. And he could potentially hat-trick this event if he does indeed win the feature. Everybody else behind will not advance to the feature, but they will have a second opportunity in our Marwin Sports last chance qualifiers that will come later on in the evening. So results up on screen in a moment's time. And Well, we think they're coming up in a second. So Mario Bonfanti Jr. will cross. He's still crossing the line. So there we go. And he comes home 25 seconds behind the bunch after, well, 36 seconds. That's just updated in that Marwin Sports Subaru. Good on Mario Bonfanti Jr. He's got a tough challenge racing as a quadriplegic. God knows how he's doing it. He's built up a very special device, Paul, just for himself. Enables him to race cars, not only on the sim, but in the real world too. It's a great story, Mario, as we look at the grid for the second heat. Scott Speed starts on the inside alongside newcomer Michael Lewis. Mikey Lawrence with his second appearance in the All-Stars will start on the outside and then... we'll start on the inside of the second row, excuse me, with Tim Stevens in the middle, Ron Capps as well, who returns for another round for Don Schumacher Racing, and then Andreas Backerud, representing himself, failed to set a time in qualifying, will start from the back. Going to be about 10-15 seconds until race start here. Scott Speed just needs a clean round. Could have finished anyway at Lucas Oil, but he decided to pull the plug on that one. But he says he does enjoy the challenge of the inverted top 10s. Hopefully we speak to him at the end of the day, because he needs a top 3 finish for his championship charge. He's won 4 of these Rallycross titles. Will he add a 5th in the All-Star Invitational as we go green? He charges to the outside, takes the racing line. There's contact down the back of the pack. I think that was Mikey Lawrence who was turned around. Not a good start for the American.
Yeah, that's... we've been saying about the how it funnels down into turn 2. They didn't make it past turn 1, unfortunately, but it was 3 into 1.
Oh, no.
That just does not go.
And that is
Ron Capps.
So Ron Capps now will join just ahead of Mikey Lawrence. Those two in some carnage. Ron Capps, the drag racer, racing in the Napa Auto Parts Subaru. He's also made a mockery of turn number 7 there, and into 8 here. 9 corners around Phoenix. It's a very twisty racetrack. Those two will fight for some scraps down the back of the pack. So just like the earlier heat, the top 2 advance, and it looks like Michael Lewis in his debut event could advance. Scott Speed is just... he's not given up the lead. He's taken to the Joker. Michael Lewis continues to the racetrack. So Scott Speed there, good decision. Take it at the first available opportunity.
Yeah, that's it. You know, the race leader, he's seen what's happening behind. He's been able to see what the lie of the land is, and then said, right, I'm going for that Joker straight away, get it out of the way, get myself a nice big gap out in the field, and that's exactly what's happened here for Scott Speed.
Scott Speed has raced everything from Rallycross to X Games to Formula 1, GP2, NASCAR. He's racing the Cup Series, Xfinity Series, the Truck Series, so much more. I'm going to stop because this heat might end by the time I stop reading off this list, as he looks to probably win this heat and start from the back alongside Karam as we watch Michael Lewis. Oh, now is that Ron Capps to the Joker? It is. And how about this? Andreas Backerud's taken the Joker this lap, and he's ended up, now where is he? He's behind Michael Lewis, but it's critical for grid position, Paul. Even though you don't...
taken it.
Oh, he hasn't taken it.
No, he's just that much quicker at the moment is Backerud, and he's waiting until the last lap to take the Joker.
Yeah, so excuse me, that was a huge blunder from my side. So Backerud's going to continue. Michael Lewis, you just saw him duck in to take that shortcut. If Backerud has some pace here, he could take it on the final lap and potentially appear in that transfer position.
You never know. We'll have to wait and see. So we're on to the final lap, and we'll see how we get on here. But Lewis is in a good spot right now, having taken that Joker. Backerud, don't write him out here.
So the gap is 4.5. 3.9 is the delta we're looking for. Andreas Backerud to the Joker this time round. It's completely tarmac and then dirt on the exit here. It's such a unique Joker, but it's very clear. It's almost basically concrete. There's minimal dirt here. Where's he going to appear? Michael Lewis is just ahead. It's not going to be enough for Andreas Backerud as both Scott Speed and Michael Lewis advance to your feature race. But Paul, at least Andreas has front row grid position for your Marwin Sports LCQ.
Yeah, so that'll be coming up next for us here. We'll be jumping straight into that Marwin Sports LCQ. And we'll see those drivers' competition right now. But yeah, Atkinson, Baccarat, front row of the grid. That'll be interesting to see how those two get on. Then Swindell, Stevens and Filippi. Michael Lawrence right behind them.
You could say, Paul, last week Evan Swindell had, you could say, a bust up with Sage Karam across the finish line. Wasn't happy with how that race took place. Sage did apologize for the incident on the opening lap of the feature, but it's always good to see some entertainment and some drama. See what happens here at the start. Mario Bonfanti Jr. has missed his braking point a couple of times, and not only Lucas Oil, but here at Phoenix 2, he'll start at the back alongside Ron Capps. Mason Filippi would want to join his IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge teammate in the feature. And some other fun facts for you. Our producer behind the scenes, Tyler Maxson, also races in the Series 2. He knows all about these guys. And he's also in the sim world too. So here we go. Your one and only Marwin Sports LCQ. 8 drivers, 6 of these will advance. We're going to say goodbye to the bottom 2 as we go green for 5 laps of racing. Great jump from Baccarat, who covers the inside. Atkinson demotes himself to second. Swindell on the inside too, but Tim Stevens is trying to make the outside work. He's going to have to form up in third. Swindell's dropped down to fourth. Now, you can't take the joke of this first lap by, but it looks like we're single file here into the jump, which is critical.
Yeah, these drivers certainly doing a good job. Lap 1 so far. Oh, we have got one taken to the Joker. That's a little bit naughty there, but we'll see how that pans out, how the race admins want to call that one.
We'll see. We're not sure. We haven't heard from race control whether they've allowed that, so that could potentially be the case. We don't think so. So maybe Bonfanti Jr. will receive a penalty for that, and we just heard from race control now that they haven't allowed it. They're investigating Bonfanti Jr. behind the scenes. So Baccarat to the Joker at his first available opportunity, and he is joined by, you could say, a choir of drivers.
Yeah, 4 drivers all going to the Joker here.
It's a boy band.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to hear any of them sing, but these drivers then all took to the Joker, so you'll see those Joker symbols light up on the left-hand side. So yeah. So that was Baccarat, Atkinson, Stevens, Filippi. Now, as you mentioned, Jonathan, top 6 qualifying for the final. And, contact there, Swindell.
He's in the Swindell Speed Lab Subaru, and we know the bust-up last week. He's not happy when somebody takes him out. And we'll see where he feeds out at the end of this, because only the top 6 advance, like you mentioned, Paul. So right now we think Baccarat's going to be good. He should advance along with Atkinson. Those two are quick. They normally appear in a lot of features. Rarely have they missed one in our All-Star events. Tim Stevens has been very quick in Rallycross machinery. But whoever finishes 6th will start from pole, because it's an inverted top 10. So if you think about it, you don't want to tank this. Oh, no. Just as we talk about, Stevens has fallen into trouble.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's nice clean with the rejoin there. And, well, Swindell and Capps have still yet to take their Joker here. So actually Stevens is in a little bit of trouble. In fact, somebody was on the Joker. I think that was Ron Capps.
Yeah, potentially. Swindell was at the Joker. He's just exited. It's got to be one of those two if the graphic updates. You might be correct, Paul, but Ron Capps is actually a couple of laps down, so there's some issues for him. Now, Mario Bonfanti Jr. has just received a penalty for taking the Joker. Will that mean Kevin Swindell, if he's close enough here, he could advance? So we'll see the gap here as the results update. There's a bit of side-by-side action on the final lap. No need for that. Mason Filippi's in the wall in the Brian Herder Auto Sports Subaru. Baccarat wins the Marwood Sports LCQ. He's already celebrating, Baccarat. Look at the burnouts. Look at the smoke in the back of the pack. He's won this by a country mile. Chris Atkinson will advance along with him. And let's find out here, Paul, what happens with the penalty. We think it's done. We think it's official. Bonfanti Jr. is out.
There it is up on screen. Less than 3 seconds then. is the difference for him dropping out. So, but what a performance, Mikey Lawrence into a final on his debut event.
Yeah, good stuff from him, which is not. No, yeah, would that be Michael Lewis or Mikey Lawrence?
Michael Lewis, sorry.
Yeah, well, they're similar names. Well, I was getting confused too for a second. Same initials, same everything. Well, there you go. So, it's good to see Tim Stevens back, who's he writes some great pieces for Roadshow. For anyone who wants to read some of his stuff on sim racing, he does a brilliant job with that, and you can check all that out after the coverage because we've got a feature race coming up. We're going to preview all of that on the other side of this. Don't leave us because we have got an action-packed race coming up. 10 laps of action around Phoenix, and it's all coming up after these messages.
Maryland Wrecking Crew, huge lead. We don't know how to do the run. We don't know how to do the trees. This is enduro cross. This is BS.
All right, we're back. There's a feature race coming up here from Phoenix. It is the iRacing Rallycross All-Star Invitational presented by Yokohama. We just concluded our Marwin Sports LCQs from Jonathan Simon. I'm alongside Paul Smith for today's coverage. Now, Paul, what did we make of the racing action so far? The Joker strategy's been interesting. Not only that, but we've got some great talent in our feature race here. Some of the best we've seen on the sim racing service who also race in motorsport.
Absolutely. I was right, by the way. Michael Lewis is is in this feature race on his debut event. So, maybe not from the results of the Marwin Sports LCQ. But anyway, some great talent that's going to be on display here. And as you say, with that inverted grid as well, it really spices up the action here in these All-Stars Invitationals and produces some really good racing for us to see.
And hey, mate, I'm a little jealous. They've flown you to Phoenix, but they've cheaped out on my flights, mate. I don't know what the budget's going on with iRacing, and I haven't got the shirt yet. What's going on here?
Yeah, it's called having a green screen. I'll be honest with you. It's the way
it looks good. It does look like you're there. Let me tell you that much, mate. I'm having a look here. Like, you couldn't piece it off any better. I heard your room's very clean behind the scenes, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's not things sort of strewn all over the floor. No, not at all.
Well, we've had a push as well for you next week, Paul, to try and race. You're pretty, you admit you're not the quickest in rallycross action, but you're pretty handy in these machinery. Be interesting if we can actually get you to race next week and then commentate when you jump in for a heat.
Is this the official campaign to get me in the race?
We'll get a hashtag on.
But in all seriousness, these guys are here for fun. They're here to enjoy themselves and to put on a show for us. And really, they do put on a good show for us. Not everybody's at the same level as some others, but you see that wide variety of abilities then come through into this final and really see what these drivers are made of.
Yeah, certainly. Now, we say goodbye to Mario Bonfanni Jr. and Ron Capps, but our other 10 drivers will race. So it will be Kevin Swindell from pole position. He scored a podium here previously. Now, He's actually paralyzed below the waist. So we spoke about quadriplegic Mario Bonfani Jr., but Kevin Swindell is actually paralyzed, so he's actually struggling to race too. It's a very good effort by him, Paul, to make the feature today.
Yeah, absolutely, it certainly is. And this is the beauty of sim racing as well, giving people the opportunity to race, no matter what their capabilities are.
So people have been asking, is Kevin Swindell related to Sammy Swindell? He is. He's the son of the 3-time World of Outlaws sprint car champion. He'll start on the inside alongside Mason Filippi. And then the second row will include Tim Stevens next to Mikey Lawrence. And on the outside, it is WRC, former WRC driver and fellow Aussie Chris Atkinson. Down on the third row, it's Andreas Bakkerud alongside Michael Lewis in his debut appearance here in the race. Look out for Bakkerud. He's very quick in rallycross cars. But then we've got 3 insanely quick drivers down the back of the pack. Connor Martell, who's won a race before for Dreyer and Reinbold Racing. Scott Speed, who can win the championship. And his rival, Sage Karam, who starts from the back. So the format today, 10 laps of action, 1 joker available for the drivers. It's an inverted top 10. There's going to be plenty of action going on. You can't take the joker on the first lap. Who is going to be winner from Phoenix? And we go green for the final time for our All-Stars. Oh, we've had a huge clash at the start. We'll try and pick apart who's involved there. But down the front end of the order, everybody's going to form up heading into turns 1 and 2. It's Swindell from Filippi, more carnage as well. Bakkerud's turned around somehow now in the back of the pack. Scott Speed's found his way to second. Sage Karam's found his way into third.
And that's interesting that Sage found himself in third, considering that he was actually caught up in that initial instant going into turn 1. So he's found himself in a good spot. Look at him putting the pressure on Scott Speed through this turn here.
And Scott Speed, it's very rare to see a mistake from our 4-time rallycross champion. He's made a name for himself by being so precise. His precision is unlike anyone else. Oh, Karam had a peak heading into turn 2. Luckily, no contact between the two. Now, first opportunity to take to the joker. Scott Speed takes to it. Swindell doesn't, surprisingly. Scott Speed could appear alongside the son of 3-time World of Outlaws sprint car champion Sammy Swindell.
He's come out in front at the moment, but if I'm Swindell now, I take the joker lap this lap, get itself back in front and force Scott Speed to have to make the overtake here. Sage Karam was taking the approach of do the opposite of what Scott Speed did on that lap.
And great strategy here from Sage, you're right. So and see if he takes to the joker this time around. He doesn't. He might play that and use it or have it up his sleeve for the end of the race. So the gap now, we see Swindell's taken to the joker, and he should appear just ahead of Scott Speed. There's the Subaru Motorsports USA driver behind. Connor Martell is ahead of Sage Karam. I think Sage Karam's got to go for it this time by, potentially, but he does have about 1.5 seconds of clear air up ahead.
Does, and he's putting in some quick laps as well, is Sage. So he currently holds the fastest lap of the race. And does he go to the joker? No, he's saving this. He's waiting for the joker until he's keeping it as a way of having a bit of backup for strategy purposes. Interesting to see how that one works out for him. Bakkerud is right behind. We've seen how aggressive Andreas can be. So Sage has got to be careful here, and he's got to be careful of the anti-cut curbs there. As in fact, Bakkerud has got smoke coming from his car.
Oh no, that might be off the landing of the jump. Some of the drivers have spoken about how you can damage the engine. And there is the Norwegian. Somehow, he's going to get that Subaru home. We don't know how. He's driven home with broken suspensions, broken steering arm. He's done so much in his career. Can't remember what track that was at, but there was one year where everyone remembers that famous event. I couldn't believe it. I didn't know he was going to win that one at the time when I was watching, but he somehow did it. He's fallen down to 6. It looks like it could be an impossible task here today. But critically now, the gap between Swindell and Karam is down to 4.1 seconds. Scott Speed needs to make an overtake ASAP. Otherwise, 3.9 is the Joker Delta gap, and we could see Sage Karam victor here today from Phoenix.
And this is, I think, what Sage Karam was hoping for here. He's probably got a spotter telling him what's happening at the front. Oh, Scott's having to back out of it there. He almost went into the back bumper. And, well, Swindell still in front. Scott Speed second. What's the gap at the line? We'll find out. And that's close.
I think this is going to be tough now. 3.6 the gap. I think Sage Karam's done it. He's got traffic now with Connor Martell right up ahead. That's the battle for the lead. This is the battle for the win. This is Sage Karam for Dreyer and Reinbold. All four in picture here for victory. Will Swindell hold off Speed? Can he hold off Connor Martell? And Scott Speed now barges his way past into first, but Swindell now is going to be alongside the American. Oh, there's no space between the two. That is certainly going to hand the gap to Karam.
Well, all's fair in love and rallycross, that's for sure what we're finding here. But this is a chance. If I'm Karam now, I take this lap because they have closed right up. He'll see them in front of him. And he's got that opportunity to get in front, and he hasn't again. He's saving it for the end.
Is that one lap too late for Karam? He's taking a risk here. I mean, there's really no need to continue. I really hope he gets it done. Oh,
now
no.
Martell.
That's going to potentially be a slowdown for Scott Speed. He's not going to be happy with that. Is he going to slow down right ahead of Karam? That would be hilarious if he does so. Oh, he may. Karam looked to the inside. Scott Speed is going to... Oh, that's insane.
Oh, what car control. That's beautiful.
A 200-meter drift. Karam to the Joker finally should take the lead.
I mean, it's not the quickest way around that corner, but my goodness, that was impressive to see there. We're holding that slide. But Sage Karam, oh, now is he to the lead? He's side by side. Swindell has done a fantastic job here. Contact again.
And this is going to be the final lap, so it's going to be between Swindell and Karam. Kevin Swindell's been on the podium, but he's never won a race in the All-Star Invitational. Can Sage Karam do it? Champion in Indy Lights, champion in USF 2000. He needs a championship now in Rallycross too. Final few corners. Swindell's made a mockery of the landing of the jump. And now Connor Martell's trying to bump and run on his teammate. We don't think it's going to be enough. Dreyer and Reinbold fighting for the victory. Don't take each other out, fellas. That's it. Another third successive. Dreyer and Reinbold 1-2, but the victory goes to Sage Karam.
That was incredible. That was fantastic to see there. Kevin Swindell, my hat goes off to him for the performance that he put out there. What defensive display of driving right there.
Wow, what a finish. Kevin Swindell still ended up in third. Scott Speed, after his what seemed like a 5-kilometer drift through turns 1 and 2 across the dogleg here at Phoenix, still ended up in fourth at the end of the day. You'll be lamenting that Joker strategy. Here are the results up on screen. So you can see a Dreyer and Reinbold 1-2. The Swindell Speed Lab Subaru of Swindell with another podium to his name. What could have been potentially a race victory for the son of Sammy Swindell and Scott Speed, who is so quick. We know in motorsport when it comes to rallycross, the sim is a completely different universe, but he's so competitive as Scott Speed. He wanted to win that despite all the banter and fun behind the scenes. Michael Lewis in his first ever event for the All-Star Invitational ends up with a top 5 finish. Great stuff from Michael Lewis. For Brian Herter Autosport, Tim Stevens, editor at Rose Show and editor at CNET, ends up I've got to speak English sometime soon tonight. Ends up with the 6th position. Mikey Lawrence in 7th, as you can see, with incidents at the start. We're surprised Mikey Lawrence made it to the checkered flag along with Mason Filippi and Chris Atkinson. We'll try to unravel the ballless string that was lap 1. There were quite a few incidents there. And then Andreas Bakkerud with the DNF. He didn't end up making it across the line, did the Norwegian, but another feature appearance for him. He never fails to disappoint when it comes to entertainment. There's a reason why he's one of my favorite drivers in the world when it comes to rallycross action. Oh my goodness me. We're going to speak to your top 3, and I always enjoy the chats after the race. We're going to preview Our Sim Racers Championship coming up after that. We've got another hour of coverage when they compete for $25,000 of series cash and prizes. So much action left here in Rallycross, and it's all coming up on the other side of this.
Take your driving to the next level at Dirtfish. Gain confidence behind the wheel of an all-wheel drive Subaru STI or rear-wheel drive BRZ. Get sideways with skills on gravel, mud, and tarmac. Dirtfish offers programs for every driver. Visit dirtfish.com for details.
Today's new cars have upwards of 100 computers in them and a dashboard rivaled only by a commercial airliner. But wouldn't it be nice to really know what all that does for you?
At Roadshow, we demystify the world of modern transportation with reviews of your next car, the latest news on what's changing the industry, and videos covering every screen and every new feature you'll encounter in the driver's seat.
Get informed, get smart, and get going with Roadshow.
All right, we're back. Post-race time for the All-Star Invitational here, presented by Yokohama. What a race. I'm breathless, and we're going to speak to your race winner, Sage Karam. Sage, it is another Dreyer and Reinbold 1-2, which I'm sure you think is most important. There's a championship for you to claim. I know this is going to go down with your Indy Lights title and your USF 2000 title too. But man, you were just speaking about it in the ad break with your teammate. You thought you were going to appear much further ahead after your Joker. I'm not sure what went wrong through that Joker lap.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought I hit it pretty good, but right before I jokered that lap, it seemed like a couple guys got into it in front of me, and Scott, I think he had a slowdown, and it kind of slowed me down like half a second, and I think that was just enough to get me right side by side with the leader, and then it got really tight after that, and yeah, he kind of got loose over the jump, so I saw the door open up, and then I saw he spun off, but no, like you said, Dreyer and Reinbold 1-2 finish again. But I mean,
third time in a row, I think.
Yeah, third time in a row, man. That's awesome. So, you know, Connor's been doing really well, and this track was a lot of fun. We were just talking about it. I think last week that track wasn't everybody's cup of tea, and this week was definitely a cool track.
Well, you're not the first one to say that. Everyone trashes Lucas Oil. I feel sorry for the circuit, but talking about Phoenix, the Joker here, I was very surprised. Obviously, it's a shortcut. The Joker deltas were 3.9 seconds. We were so surprised you left it so late. We thought that was way too risky, man. And then it ended up that you went one lap longer than we thought you should have. And then Scott ended up having the slowdown. That's Scott's speed. And that's what cost you potentially the victory. But I guess at the end of the day, man, you got the win, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, my plan was that hopefully they were all going to kind of bunch up, and while they were kind of battling, I could just keep chipping away, and then use the Joker as late as I possibly could. And then once Scott got the slowdown, I said, I have to go now and just kind of clear this and get in front of what I can. And, you know, thankfully it worked out. I mean, it was stressful, but definitely a really fun event.
And all right, mate, so you've won a championship in Indy Lights. You're USF 2000 champion, not to make you feel old, but that was a decade ago. And you've won races in ARX too. If you win the All-Star Invitational Championship, where does that rank amongst all of those?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You know, it'll be like my first sim racing title. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what I need to do to win it or what. I've never even seen I've never even seen the points. So
well, we'll figure that out next week. That's what we were thinking about. There's obviously, you know, drop rounds and only your 5 best rounds count, but I'm looking at the statistics for this season. So this would be what, your 3rd victory? So you've at least got 3 maximum points.
Okay, yeah. So I imagine we're in the hunt, and you know, we'll just show up next week and do our best, and hopefully get another win. That'd be nice.
Yeah, bring that Wick Subaru home, surely. We'll leave you to it. We're going to speak to your teammate. Congratulations again, Sage. Another victory to your name, mate. And surely another one at Sonoma in the virtual wine country in a fortnight's time. Connor Martell, you were chatting to your teammate as well, and you seem to enjoy this circuit quite a bit. You almost snatched that victory on the final lap. That was going to be a good one.
Yeah, definitely. That was definitely hands down my favorite track to race on for sure. And yeah, me and Sage had a pretty close battle. It was kind of a hectic start like usual, but you know, I took Joker early before Sage, hoping that, you know, someone maybe would get in front of Sage, hold him up, and then once I got behind Scott, I saw that him and Kevin were battling, and I kept catching him, kept catching him. And then I saw Sage right behind me, and yeah, I totally thought he was going to pass everybody, no problem on the Joker, but somehow, you know, that didn't work out. And it's awesome being 1-2 with Sage again for the third time in the row with the DRR team. And me and Sage have had our fair share of battles in the real world in Rallycross last year. So it's pretty cool racing on here with him, and especially because, you know, he's quite the sim racer. So it's really cool to be competing with him.
We just saw you on screen here in the replay. That we're showing a couple of replays of your race. You just shoved your way past Scott Speed. That's got to feel good, because that guy is one of the best in the world when it comes to motorsport, and he's won 4 of these titles in Rallycross.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I was setting him and Kevin up the whole time I was behind him, because they were battling hard, and I knew that at some point there was going to be a mistake and I could slot in. So unfortunately, Scott got pushed over into that little barrier, and he got a slowdown penalty, and then I got in behind Kevin. And yeah, so it was a really cool action-packed race. I'm sure it was really cool for the fans to watch.
Now, was it Bucky Lassick you said that nicknamed you the Hammer, or am I getting our drivers mixed up?
My dad is the first one who started calling me it, and then when Bucky Lassick started commentating for Rallycross, he basically made it
made it famous.
So, yeah.
Well, here's a question for you, actually unrelated now, but you've obviously raced a couple of years in IRX too, and we spoke to Cabot Bigham last year. He joined us in the commentary booth for one race, where he said he would sometimes spend upwards of an hour discussing Joker strategy. Is that how long you guys spend when it comes to Joker strategy, especially at a circuit like this where it can be very interesting?
Absolutely. It also depends on if the Joker's shorter or faster. When it's that much shorter, you know, you don't have to practice it as much, because normally when it's shorter, it's quite a big advantage. But definitely in practice, you know, we do at least 3 laps per practice in the real world to really get the Joker lap down, and finding the littlest tenth. And when the Joker's longer, like in the European stuff, it is very crucial. So we definitely spend a lot of time strategizing that.
All right, Connor, we're going to leave you to it again, mate. But wow, you've been splendid this year. You've been quick. Another Dreyer and Reinbold 1-2. Hopefully the other way around in a couple of weeks for you. And Sage isn't here to hear that, so I can say that.
Yeah, I sure hope so. You know, hopefully Sage doesn't have a big spin out at Sonoma again, but I'm really feeling confident about Sonoma. I know we were fast there, and Sage was really fast there too. So it'd be really cool for me and him to battle it out 1-2 again, and hopefully it switches next weekend.
Yeah, unfortunately, if you win this time again, obviously your second win at Sonoma if you do it, but yeah, you can't get drunk after the race, mate. It's only the virtual wine country, so there won't be a winery to visit. I'm sorry to disappoint you on that one.
That's all right. I'll agree with that. That'll be fun.
All right, we'll leave you to it, Connor. We're going to speak to Kevin Swindell, who came third now. And Kevin, mate, that's another brilliant performance from you, another podium, almost a victory. Talk about the landing of the jump. That's where it went wrong for you. I would have been kicking and screaming after that one.
Yeah, so basically all day I've had some little issue with the throttle where it hangs maybe 5%, 10%, which basically kills you into one. And then that right-hander at the end, you know, when you really got to slow down. So more or less I kind of have to get settled, you know, through each of those sections, and then bend my throttle forward a little bit with my hand, you know, while I'm off throttle. So that was kind of taking a little bit of my focus. Every section was trying to put it back, and I kind of just felt like if I hustled the Joker or the jump just a little bit better there and got just enough of a gap, Sage couldn't, you know, shove me off in there, and really getting into that section wasn't my strong suit. So just kind of gambled on trying to make some space, and it just never really got the back straight enough to where when I landed, then it wiggled right, and that was pretty much it.
And for those at home, so we've spoken about this before, Kevin. Obviously, you are paralyzed below the waist. So how have you actually set up your wheel to be able to race?
It's more or less just got two oversized paddle shifters that that are on kind of a mechanism with some springs and stuff to give them some throw, and I've kind of just kept hillbilly modifying stuff to make it a little bit better, and I think in the process of it I've kind of just bent something just slightly in my throttle, and that's what, like, I'll go like a month and not have this issue, and then like I'll go for a week or something like this and just constantly seem to have it. So I don't know what the deal is. I know they've got a an upgraded set that Wickens played with some that I've been waiting on Pappas and those guys to let me try, but yeah, just kept basically having to peer my eyes left over to that little sensor on the left side that shows where your throttle input is to make sure it was closed all the time, and it just killed my focus that little bit. But kind of just knew if I beat Scott back through the Joker when he jokered, I could control him. I know I'm usually like 2/10 to 3/10 slower than these guys on average, but I kind of know how to control and able to kind of push Scott back out when he pushed me out and maintain there.
And hey, mate, not to bring up last week, but we know you're a competitive guy. You don't win races without being competitive. But we've been talk of the town was last week across the finish line. You weren't happy with Sage Karam. I was hoping for a bust up here in the interview waiting room between you two.
No, I let him know about it before we left IRP there. But yeah, I just Sage is probably the most qualified iRacer we have on here. And for him to be the guy that blows through turn one and shoves us all off in the barrier, and that's where, as dumb as it sounds, when he got stuck and I got stuck together, my stupid little throttle was hung that little bit, which wouldn't let me go into reverse, and then that basically ruined my whole race while I tried to fix all that stuff. So I was definitely frustrated. This isn't easy for me with the way my stuff's set up. So I get a little frustrated when I kind of get eliminated. I'm fine with eliminating myself like I did over the jump, but just getting eliminated by somebody else isn't fun.
Kevin, this is Paul also on the commentary. I just want to say that was one heck of a defensive display of driving that you put in there. Just talk us just very briefly about how do you deal with that amount of pressure being put on you by not just by Scott Speed but also by Sage Karam as well?
Yeah, I mean, these places, like this, there's only a couple places where you can really pass, so it's kind of just a lot of positioning yourself, and especially like the dirt, you just can't get can't let yourself slide out, kind of like I did the first time with Scott. And it's like, as long as you kind of keep yourself in the right spot a lot of the time, and there's places where you can honestly just back it up and not really push, just to make sure that you're not in a weird spot. And as long as you got a little respect, like Scott and some of these guys do, to not really just drive through you, then you can kind of play the games like that.
Kevin, not to hold you up, but last thing, we've been again inundated with questions and comments from the fans across all the social platforms. Are you son of Sammy Swindell? That's what everyone's asking, mate. The family, the racing blood runs between you guys. You and your dad are some of the quickest when it comes to World of Outlaws.
Yeah, no, that's my dad. So
nothing else to say. There you go. We'll leave you to it, mate. Congratulations again. Well done. And hopefully a win in a couple of weeks, I reckon.
Yeah, we're getting close. I need to keep running 6 in the B so I can start off the pole.
Yeah, we'll see how you go. So we'll leave you to it, Kevin. We'll see you in a couple of weeks, hopefully. Speak to you after that one. And Paul, we're going to wrap up here. A good one. Do you enjoy that one?
Oh, it was thrilling. And what a finish to that feature race. It was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to recap now. So we're going to head towards a replay of our Sim Racers event from last week. And then we are going to head to this venue where our Sim Racers could potentially wrap up the championship. We've got 5 championship challenges, 3 of those realistically. We think it's going down to Sonoma, but it could be wrapped up from Phoenix today. Another hour of action here from the iRacing Esports Network commentary booth. We'll see you on the other side of this. And we go green from Lucas Oil Raceway for the final time. Great getaway from Subaru's Mitchell de Jong. Hearth has been boxed in. He ducks to the inside. He may take the lead here. They might open the door for Garrett Maines on the outside. Garrett Maines clouts the barrier. De Jong, though, to the Joker. This is a scrap between him and the Smithfield VW. This is where it bottlenecks. Everybody's into the wall, and that can open the door for Hearth. He's going to cop a slowdown penalty.
Oh, this is Mitchell's to lose right now. Garrett Maines, an absolute nightmare of an opening to that race. Turn 1 just did not work out for him. They're still battling away on, but Maines is around again. So Garrett is just going from bad to worse. Josh Fox is at the back of your field out of all that as well.
And John Robertson up the inside of a couple of drivers. He made 2 positions there. He's alongside Zelensky at the final corner. We begin lap 2. Your championship leader, I'm not sure if he wanted to take to the Joker, but he was boxed in by Joni Ollikainen. So Garrett Maines, who was having a look at the race lead, is down to second last here at the end of the first lap. De Jong, we think, unless Tommy Horman has a case here, pace-wise, De Jong could take his first victory at Lucas Oil. Robertson, now, has he had a moment there? He's definitely working the wheel.
There is contact between him and Ollikainen, that's for sure. He had to back out of it, and his brother came up behind him. That's given Garrett Maines now an opportunity. You see them in the background of the shot there. So, sideways goes Jake Robertson. He drops down behind Maines. This is action-packed.
Robertson highlighted in red. He's the championship leader. His brother behind is going to have a nice tight scrap here. As with Garrett Maines and Killian Delorme's right there ready to pounce. I think they're 3 wide. They are here out of turn 4. Over the jump. This may not end well, Paul, at the end of this. It does. Oh, how about that?
Well, you never know. And into the hairpin, that's where you can throw it. Oh, and Maines gets collected. Who was that hit him? It was Jake. Jake Robertson got pushed from behind into him.
Alrighty, so there's that scrap going on for important points. Lead battle hasn't changed. Horman still has a Joker up his sleeve, although only worth 0.2 of a second. Johan Hearth, critically ahead of his teammate John Robertson for the championship, but De Jong is ahead of them all. Here's a replay of what happened. And Robertson may bend the steering arm doing that. So talk us through this.
Yeah, so Maines puts it down the inside through here. That's all fine. That's okay. They all get on the brakes, and Josh Fox just gets into the back of Robertson, who then turns Maines there. No intention there at all. That's just unfortunate how everybody got concertinaed together there. And unfortunately for Maines, he's the one who gets off the worst.
Yeah, it certainly does. Mitchell de Jong, who this will be a good relief for him. He had no luck here in Red Bull GRC in 2017. Didn't even make the feature. His car just had so many technical issues after a shunt with Patrick Sandell and Chris Atkinson. And you could take a win here. There's Zelensky in some troubles with John Robertson. So that's another position for your championship challenger. But Zelensky up the inside will reclaim a top 5 position.
Yeah, Zelensky, Robertson's just not really had the pace this week, has he? But all he needs to do, really is just get points. He needs to just score points. That's all he needs to worry about here. Yes, his championship rivals, Mitchell de Jong and also Johan Hearth at the top of these standings are first and third. But look into the inside of Zelensky. Look at this. He's got an intent there. He's not giving this one up, that's for sure, is John. But right now, he just needs to get himself points here.
I'm looking at you on Zoom, Paul. You can tell both of us are just sort of swinging back here as he made that move. And believe it or not, Zelensky has never, as we watched John Robertson try to make a move on Zelensky, Zelensky's only finished in the top 5 this season once. 5th. That was his best finish. A man who scored so many podiums, was expected to finally break the duck and score a feature win. Almost won an NASCAR championship. Races in the Porsche Esports Super Cup. And I'm going to stop there because there's so much more. What can't this American achieve? And just like his dear own LA Lakers, trying to win a championship hopefully sometime soon for Bobby Zalenski. So a couple laps to go here. Hallman yet to use that joker. The gap is 1.3 between himself and De Jong. We think De Jong is going to win this race. There is the Subaru Motorsports USA driver. It'll be his first win from Lucas Oil Raceway. The track is getting worn like there's no tomorrow, and that's going to make overtaking difficult here for Robertson, who needs a top 5 spot on Zalenski too.
Yeah, Zalenski, he did have the gap over Zalenski though, don't forget, so at least he's not got to worry about that too much. But yeah, Tommy Hallman, he wants a good result here after the trials and tribulations that he's had this season. But De Jong, he's wanting another championship. He wants to give himself the best opportunity to get a championship, and he doesn't want to do it by not winning a single race. You can see the live points. Look at how everything's just closing up, and Roberts only with an 8-point lead over his teammate, and Mitchell De Jong, well, he's trying to catch that one up.
Well, we know the championship can't be wrapped up today. By the way, while you were speaking, that was at least about a 30-meter two-wheel hop by Mitchell De Jong through turn number 2. Final lap of the race. Hallman to the joker. It's not going to be enough for the Finn, but it'll be another podium. And the championship is being clawed in. 8 points between your Team Yokohama drivers, but Mitchell De Jong is going to claim his first race win of the season. I never thought I'd say that 7 rounds into a Rallycross championship. He won 50 in a row when Rallycross was released on the iRacing service. And here he is, Mitchell De Jong, winner from Lucas Oil Raceway for round 7, and his first victory of the season for Subaru Motorsports USA. And the championship charge continues for the American. He looks poised. He acts like he's done this before, and I tell you what, he has done this many, many times before. It is his 11th career victory in 25 starts. Wherever you are around the world, strap on tightly and enjoy the ride. Rounds of wheel-to-wheel action, 28 drivers. This is the iRacing Rallycross World Championship. On a day which may see a new champion crowned, you can argue this season, despite the loss of Joni Heikkinen on the grid, despite our reigning champion Sami Matti Trogan pulling out of his seat too, it's still been one of the most competitive seasons of Rallycross we've ever had. And it continues here from Phoenix Raceway, located in Avondale, Arizona, which hosts the 8th and penultimate round of the 2020 iRacing Rallycross All-Star Invitational. Paul Smith, you're alongside me. You have got a virtual look. I say a virtual look. iRacing almost look like they have flown you out to Phoenix there. You're looking great. Here's the big wall. These are all the drivers we're going to see here today.
It's nice to see that the top of my head's being chopped off as well. But yes, it's certainly... I'll lean down shallow a little bit. But no, it's been fantastic action so far. The All-Stars gave us a great event. And, I mean, I'm looking at the conditions here. It's nice and cool, actually, for Phoenix. So only 26 degrees Celsius on the track. So definitely... we're looking forward to, but these are the World Championship. This is where the big money's at now, and this is where the pressure really is on.
Yep, so let's identify all the drivers. Johan Hart at the top right. That handsome person on the top left is Paul Smith himself. Jonathan Simon on the bottom right. You've got John Robertson alongside me. No, whoops, wrong way. There we go. John Robertson. You've got Mitchell De Jong underneath Paul. and he's racing for Subaru Motorsports USA. You can see the fancy Red Bull fridge in the background. He's had Red Bull sponsorship for most of his career. And that is Luke Kraus right up above me, who is racing in virtual reality. And on the Supercars coverage a couple of weeks ago, Paul, Nick Percat, who's a Supercars driver, said he doesn't like to wear virtual reality because he always thinks someone could just pop up in the room, punch you in the stomach, and you have no clue.
Well, yeah, especially when you're wearing a headset as well, so you're fully enclosed in that atmosphere and in that virtual reality. And yeah, I've seen plenty of clips of people getting disturbed whilst they're in VR headsets. But it does actually give you a really good different perspective as well, those wearing those VR headsets. So definitely, some drivers prefer it, some drivers prefer having the triple screens, but it's great to see these drivers out there here for us today.
Yeah, definitely. So you can see the sunlight in the background here with me today. It is 6 a.m. in the morning, and Bo Albert, an Australian, will be racing in that time here today, although I don't see him in the server, so I'm not sure if something's gone wrong for the Australian here today, whether he's able to make it. Here are your championship challengers. So we saw 3 of them that we'll have on videos, and John Robertson has a 7-point advantage ahead of Johan Hart. Mitchell de Jong in third. Now, we think it's unrealistic for Hallman and Ollie Kynan, but it's still mathematically possible, Paul, with 2 rounds remaining for the 2 Finns to win this championship. They'll need a miracle, though.
Yeah, those drivers, they're mathematically in with that shot, but it's going to be such a tall order. Being over a race behind, so it's really, really going to be tough for them out there. So I think we'll be saying goodbye to those 2 as championship contenders by the end of this event. But yeah, Robertson, Hart and de Jong, so close here. And de Jong's on a bit of form now after having won last week.
Yeah, certainly is, and he was our 6th different race winner this season in 7 events. We head into round 8. I never thought I'd say that in Rallycross. Round 7 was Mitchell de Jong's first victory of the season. It was his 2nd from Lucas Oil. Incredible stuff. Now, 4 of these 6 winners have been new to Rallycross. An interesting stat for you, there have only been 3 repeat winners in Rallycross history. That includes Joni Heikkinen, Mitchell de Jong, and Johan Hart. But for John Robertson, Paul, to claim this championship, he'll need to add himself to that list. He is starting to get creeped up on points by his 2 rivals.
Yeah, the pressure's really coming on for him, and he's really got to pull this one out and get himself a win here today to really give himself a great opportunity for the championship into that final round.
And here's the track details for you. It's a 1.22 kilometer circuit, 0.76 miles, depending on your units of choice. The track rounds itself clockwise. 10 degrees of banking around that area where it's on the back straight here at Phoenix. That's where the dog leg is around the oval, 9 corners. And it's a circuit that held the championship weekend for NASCAR in 2020 and will do so in 2021 as it took the reins from Homestead this year. It's a 54% asphalt, 46% dirt split. Look out for that Joker Delta time. It's a 3.9 second shortcut here today. And the Joker's been updated throughout the years from 2018 to last year to this year. So we'll give you a visual update on that. Now, $25,000 of series cash and prizes, $10,000 to the winner. That's US dollars. And the Yokohama Pole Award is still being fought out. 2 poles for de Jong, 2 poles for Tommy Hallman. Who's going to take that trophy at the end of the season? It's a custom trophy produced by Yokohama, who are our series partners. Marwin Sports also award a gift set to our race winner each round, and the Dirtfish Rookie of the Year award looks like it will go to Joni Ollikainen. And here is the critical point system. 29 points maximum that you can take. Who is going to take the 6 points coming out of qualifying? Qualifying could wrap up the championship, Paul. Not today, but certainly at Wine Country in a fortnight's time.
Yeah, it's great that this the championship point structure has changed for this year, and it really has mixed things up here. But there's your championship standings as they are at the moment. So we discussed those top 5 already, but you look further down, the top 10 is where you get an automatic invite into next year's championship. And then look at that, Jake Robertson right on the bubble, 6 points ahead of Otto Taskinen with Rasmus Toinen and Conor Parisi. But really, relegation, it's anybody's to play for.
Certainly is. This is going to go down to the wire, I reckon. In wine country, it's going to be a critical one. Boy, I love rallycross, and this championship has been very entertaining. So today's format, 4 heat races coming up. 2 Marwin Sports last chance qualifiers. Coming out of those 6 events, we'll have 10 drivers for your feature race. And that will decide, and that will pay the most points. Despite a new point system this season, and we'll wait and see who will win this championship. Here are the keys to victory for today. So the funneling at turn 2 is critical, much like Lucas Oil last week. Then you've got the landing of the jump, which can cause trouble. Drivers have been talking about that here today. The landing of the jump, you could blow the engine, but the entrance onto the jump is also being critical too. And then the lap 1 joker strategy, depending on which position you are, depending on where you are around the outside, inside. Drivers have been giving me so many different possibilities as to when and where they will take the joker during the heat races today. So qualifying is all wrapped up here. And the qualifying record has been smashed. There wasn't a virtual track reset. It goes to Tommy Horman, who is now officially up ahead in P number 1 for the Yokohama Pole Award. A 33.682 lap time. He has blitzed, erased the record by Johan Hart, which was a 35.921. He's almost 2 seconds quicker. He'll start alongside Alari Lamansivu. It's a 2x3 by 2x3 grid here. Johan Hart, our championship challenger on the second row, alongside Garrett Maines, who's been very quick for Dreyer and Reinbold Racing in that Volkswagen Beetle. Matt Busa, who replaced 2019 champion Sammy Matty Trogan, who's on a sabbatical for this season. And then behind them, Jonathan Payet returns from a race suspension. And Mitchell de Jong, with struggles in qualifying, starts from last in this heat. Paul, you talk about drama. None of your top 6 in qualifying have scored any points.
Yeah, so but that's a bunch of points that that's a bunch of points that are going away. Well, you say that, Tommy Horman,
sorry,
of course.
Excuse me, Paul. I should say none of your top 3 championship challengers are in the top 6 in qualifying. I butchered that one.
We got there in the end, but yes, Tommy Horman though with pole position, that's helped him close up a little bit in your standings, so that will be good for him. But yeah, this is really mixed up, this grid here, hasn't it, today? And I'm looking forward to this one. We're about 10 seconds away from the start of this race.
That's insane. Johan Hart missed out on points. John Robertson's qualified down the order. This worn-out track in qualifying has made all the difference. Only 2 advance from each of your heats. Will Johan Hart and de Jong advance? Is this championship over for one of your challengers? We go green from Phoenix for the first time. Great jump from the Set Esports car. Look at Johan Hart. He may look for the lead here heading into turn 2. They're all going to funnel the track bottlenecks. Johan Hart for Team Yokohama into the lead.
And he's going straight to the joker, so he's immediately taking that joker lap there. Tommy Horman, by the way, took a heck of a jump. He almost missed the landing, didn't get the landing right there, but he's going through, so it's going to be Johan Hart in the lead. But yeah, really good start, forceful start from Johan.
Certainly was. That could decide the championship. Who knows? Mitchell de Jong's trying to make a move here on Jonathan Payet, just in the back of shot. I saw smoke. Oh, so something may have gone wrong for the Frenchman, Jonathan Payet, who's raced in the FIA World Rallycross Championship as well, both in motorsport. And he takes his talents to the sim. Oh, he's made a mockery of the exit, a travesty of the landing of the jump. Is that damage for the Dirtfish Subaru?
I don't know. I think he was just locking up and he couldn't get the wheel to rotate again going into 2 and 2. So I think that's what happened to him last lap, and that allowed Mitchell de Jong to be able to make the move down the inside. But right now, Hart less than a second between him and Lamin Sivu, so Ilari is putting the pressure on your race leader at the moment. Third place for Matt Busa. Good position for Matt to be in, but we've got drivers taken to the Joker. It's Garrett Maines.
Oh, that's critical. Now, where's he going to appear, Garrett Maines? Almost in the lead. He's going to appear just ahead of Ilari Lamin Sivu. So let's look at the Joker graphic. And Garrett Maines in second. So yes, this will be a transfer position for Garrett Maines. He's been so impressive this season, has Garrett Maines, in that Smithfield VW Beetle. We just saw Adrea and Reinbold 1-2 in our All-Stars, and we could see another driver here starting from the front, or at least the second row, in your feature race.
Isn't it good to see a VW up there as well, mixing it with those Subarus, really putting the pressure on here. But Holman, De Jong and Paye all waiting until the last lap to take their Joker. And right now, De Jong, he's not quite close enough to get to second place, I don't think.
No, definitely isn't. Oh, this is going to be it. So is this championship done for Mitchell de Jong? No points in qualifying. No points in your heat. You don't score points in the Marwin Sports LCQ. To the Joker goes Holman. This is critical for the transfer positions. Holman is going to start from pole in your feature. Great strategy from the Finn. De Jong will just miss out with a last lap Joker on third. Oh, the gaps between the two were oh so close. That may have potentially decided the championship. Good points for De Jong here in the heats, but he's going to have to start from the back, and he's going to have to advance, first of all, in your Marwin Sports LCQs. I can't stand the drama here. It's too much as we head into Heat 2. So Joni Ollikainen, who qualified second, will start on pole alongside Vicente Salas. Kilian Delormeau on the outs will start from the second row. I keep getting mixed up. It's a 2x3 grid. Bobby Zelensky appealed a potential race suspension and was granted his appeal. He was approved, and so he ends up competing here today. Spaniard Marcos Matamoros, who recently celebrated his 20th birthday. Happy birthday to him. That was on the 17th of November. And he'll start down the back along with Connor Parisi and Henrik Krogstad. Krogstad's yet to make a feature. Marcus Matamoros yet to make a feature. Ollikainen still in championship contention. Who knows? Those set esports drivers have it all to play here. We go green for heat number 2. Everybody squabbling already on the front stretch. Delormeau has to back out the Frenchman. Lead will go to Ollikainen unless Salas can make the outside work. He can't. Oh, there's been some funneling just as we spoke about. Zelensky made some contact with Delormeau. Salas on the outside had nowhere to go. To the Joker is Ollikainen in the lead.
Yeah, that was not the best of starts. Oh, we've got a car into the tyres further back just after the jump there as well. So clipping the tyres there was Connor Parisi. Not the best of starts for him with the US Air Force paint. But Joni Ollikainen out at the front at the moment, having taken the Joker lap. So too Zelensky and Krogstad.
So how about this? We've got to keep our eyes on that 3.9 second Joker Delta. Oh, Krogstad, goodness gracious. You get so nervous, don't you, Paul, as they land over the jump as to whether or not they're going to make it on the other side. I just saw a peek of the Andretti Autosport Alberto VW. There it is. Oh, he's going to appear ahead of Zelensky. So now for a transfer position, and remember, Zelensky is 6th in the championship. He's going to have to make a move here on his fellow American.
And we saw in the All-Stars feature race how hard it is to overtake when you've got somebody who knows how to defend. Well, Salas is certainly somebody who knows how to position his car in the right place at the right point. So definitely going to be under some pressure here from Bobby Zelensky, but Zelensky right now just doesn't quite seem to have the pace. And look at that, Delormeau sliding down the inside. Great move there for Kilian. No, it's Krogstad, sorry.
Yeah, Krogstad, exactly. So good stuff from the Norwegian, one of 2 Norwegians in our series. He's yet to make a feature. I reckon go for it, mate. If Salas butchers turn 2, And he's almost made a travesty of that corner. He could make his way past. He's very quick here as Henry Krogstad. He is the IRX 2 champion in the FIA World Rallycross Championship. And Salas has made a mockery of the exit. The VWs aren't looking quick here on this track as it's wearing out. Bobby Zelensky shoves them all past. That's going to be a slowdown for Salas. Oh, they're all taken out. Oh, there's nowhere to go. They were so slow on the exit. Eventually, they get straightened up, and that's going to be Vicente Salas remaining in the second position, that critical transfer spot.
Well, they were all arguing. It was almost like a team of Brits on holiday. No, after you. No, after you. That's what it was right there. But Salas in that crucial position. But here we go. Joker's happening on the last lap. Metamoros, he's going to have a good shout at this second place.
Could certainly here. It'll be his first feature race, not only this season, but of his career. He's going to do it. Oh, great stuff for the Burton Kligerman esports driver. He brings that E-Racer GG VW home in a transfer position. Happy birthday, Marcos Matamoros, who just celebrated his 20th birthday a few days ago, and he makes the first feature race appearance of his career. The Spanish student will be more than happy with that as he's joined by Joni Ollikainen, who will potentially be our Dirtfish Rookie of the Year at the end of this. But for Zelensky, for Salas, for Krogstad, what could have been for those three had there not been carnage. Now, how about this? Alexei Heikkinen, with his career best qualifying performance, will start alongside Luke Krause in his best career qualifying performance for Lone Bro Motorsports. Then you've got Mäkinen, Perez, Toivonen on the second row, and it's a 6-car field for Heat 3 as Daniel Matrani, who just congratulated his fellow Spaniard in Matamoros making the feature, he will start from 6th. Well, ladies and gentlemen at home, you have been thoroughly spoiled, and I have quite enjoyed today's action, from All-Stars to the drama in qualifying with your championship challenges to the racing we've had in Heats 1 and 2. It's been good. I've loved it, and it's going to continue with a couple more heats here from Phoenix. What a front row. Heikkinen from Krause. No, don't wash your eyes. That's actually what it is. They scream off the line for heat number 3. Heikkinen to the inside. His brother here has raced many years in the World Championship. He'll be trying to repeat. And have a look at Perez here. There was no room to go 3 wide as they all bottleneck. Turned around is Mäkinen. Damage for your Chad Reed 22 Motorsports driver. There's Toivonen as well, who's also down the back of the pack with damage.
Oh, that all got a little bit messy there, didn't it? Into the exit of turn 2 into 3, and it certainly showed that Heikkinen is out at the front and away. Perez and Krause, Luke Krause in second and third. They're battling away as well. Daniel Matrani as well, putting the pressure on, and he's going to the inside.
Oh, I thought he was going to take out his fellow Spaniard there in Perez. Spain may celebrate, you know, because they got one Spaniard in the feature. Don't think they'll get 2 out of this one as Krause ducks to the Joker. The Fiesta certainly made a good decision with that, Luke Krause. And let's see where he appears. So he'll be ahead of these two for sure with that 3.9 second shortcut. But for Matrani, he's yet to make a feature this season too, Paul. He's had a disappointing year in that Nitro Circus Subaru. So he could have something up his sleeve here with this Joker.
I think he's in with a good shout here. Yeah, I think he needs to take it this lap, really, because he's getting held up there, and that's exactly
good stuff. Good
what
call.
he does there. Because he's going to jump ahead into second, so Luke Krause has got it all on here to try and beat Daniel Matrani.
He's going to have to somehow overtake a big, fat Subaru with that mini Ford Fiesta. Can he bring the VP Racing Fuels Fiesta home in a transfer position for his first career feature race appearance? That is a lockup for a good hole, 200 meters for Daniel Matrani. He could make his first feature race appearance of the season. Heikkinen's already made one. That was back at Daytona, but Matrani's made a mockery of the entrance onto the jump. And the battle's going to continue to the final lap between these two.
Yeah, this is going to be an intriguing finish to this one. It'd be great to see Daniel Matroni make it into the feature race straight away, rather than having to go through your Mountain Sports last chance qualifiers. But final lap, this is the opportunity for these drivers again, locking up that inside front right.
I think he's done it. This would be great for the oldest driver in the field, Daniel Matroni, 44 years of age. And he's still going strong. He's had a disappointing year compared to his year with positive sim racing last year. But this will be a delight for him. I just spoke to him a few hours ago and I said, you got to make the feature at least once in these final 2 rounds. And he's going to do it along with Alexi Heikkinen. Everybody else heads to your Marwin Sports last chance qualifiers. What a cracking heat. What a cracking scrap that was. Oh, what a finish. Not Toyota. But Subaru, you liked that one, didn't you? As these two came home in first and second, Heikkinen and Matrani, and down the back end of the order, contact between Mäkinen and Toivonen at the start. Rasmus Toivonen actually just came home today from military service for Finland, and so he's down and lacking some practice. Josh Fox will start on pole for Heat 4 alongside championship challenger John Robertson. Josh Fox is a punk rock drummer, and so is Otto Taskinen, who's been busy writing some songs during the week. Those two will start right behind each other. John Robertson's brother, just as he had last week, will aid him in this heat with Sindre Silva, the Norwegian. And then you have got Garrett Maines in the Fiesta, Garrett Lowe, I should say, in the Fiesta. And Garrett Lowe is talking about making a feature too. He wants to make those and score some good points here. He's raced in every single rallycross event, one of 3 drivers to do so, along with Hart and Zelensky. Well, here we go. Heat number 4 coming up. Great jump by Garrett Lowe down the back of the pack, but he's going to have to maneuver his way around some traffic. The Fiesta slices his way through. Fox and Taskinen fight for the lead here. No, it's Robertson, in the Yokohama car. Robertson trying to make a statement down the inside. That's going to force Fox to the Joker. Robertson to the jump. Still in good position here to take a victory.
And Jake Robertson taking to the Joker then. So the 2 brothers in the same heat. And they're both here trying to get a good result, but Garrett Lowe, good start from him in the Fiesta, but Josh Fox at the moment at the head of your field.
Your Team Yokohama cars have screamed off the lines. They've been so quick. They've been incredible. John Robertson now, what's the gap going to be? It's 2.5 seconds to leader Josh Fox. Now, Robertson's approaching some traffic. Here is your championship leader. He's got his brother and Garrett Lowe fighting ahead. You've got a Joker from Otto Taskinen. This could hamper John Robertson's chances. So there's Taskinen to a transfer position. Robertson didn't take to the Joker, and this... Whoa! That was brother Robertson screaming over the anti-cut strip.
Yeah, that was Jake then. Finding out why you don't take that line through there. And he ends up rather unwanted. There's the Joker then taken for John Robertson. He'll move through, I would imagine, to the
well, who knows?
Spot. But yeah, with the way this race is going, anything could happen.
Look at the exit. So Fox here, he's going to do it. John Robertson just got away with that. Your Team Yokohama drivers after qualifying, they've had a little luck to their side, but they've been splendid. The worn track didn't help them. But man, are they quick. And Josh Fox won't be happy to see the rear end of the championship leader. So then you've got Taskin in 3rd, a couple of punk rock drummers in 2nd and 3rd. Garrett Lowe 4th. And Sindre Silva to the Joker this lap as Garrett Lowe makes a mockery of the exit. And John Robertson, we heard behind the scenes, Paul, was having a good little chuckle at his brother's little spin as well that he had. Wasn't laughing at him, but just with him, and how funny that looked.
Yeah, that's that brotherly love. It really really gets you somewhere. But yeah, John Robertson, he's done what he needed to do here in this heat, and he's got to the front. got himself a good position then for, although it's going to be the middle of the second row for the feature race. That's going to be quite the squeeze at the start of the race.
Yes, it certainly does. Very happy is John Robertson as he crosses the line and wins. And he will start from the second row in your feature. Josh Fox joins him in the feature. Josh Fox has been driving well this year. Competition's so tough for the American. Here are the results on screen. And I'm going to mention it one more time. 2 punk rock drummers, second and third. How about that? We've got a lot of duos this season. Got brothers in this heat, drummers, and a lot more. Sindre Silva comes home in fourth. Garrett Lowe will have to make the feature from the Marwin Sports LCQ. Here's the grid. And look at this. Mitchell de Jong needs to advance. Otherwise, we have to say his championship challenge is almost essentially over. He'll start alongside Luke Krause, the Canadian, who makes another appearance here. And he joined mid-season in that VP Racing Fuels Fiesta. The rest of the grid will be up on screen. Won't be long to the beginning of this one, as we have some notable names on the other side of this. Fusa, Makinen, Payet, they'll start from 7th, 8th, and 9th. As we're about to go green. So same format, 5 laps, 1 joker. We go green from Phoenix. De Jong has a very poor getaway. Oh, he's almost turned around by Garrett Maines. He's clouded the barrier and shoved down the back of the pack. There's more contact for the Subaru Motorsports USA driver. Is that his championship? Spun around, turned upside down. We will find out as some of the field ducks to the joker.
Wow. Garrett Maines, I mean, got one heck of a launch in that VW, had the inside. That's going to be some interesting viewing afterwards for Mitchell. He certainly won't be happy with that. He won't show his emotions during the race because he just likes to keep himself focused. But yeah, that was quite the moment for him, and he clouted the wall quite hard as well.
He's a very mature fellow, is Mitchell de Jong, but he certainly won't be pleased with that. This could be his championship slipping away here. This is critical. Let's look at the emotions. Only 1 transfers from your Marwin Sports LCQ, and where's he going to appear? Behind Perez and Maines. This is not a scrap for the transfer position. That's Lemon Cebu in 4th. De Jong is in P3, and the top 2 have already taken to the joker too. Oh, goodness gracious. He's already currently live points. He is 16 points behind John Robertson for the championship lead. And it could all end here from Phoenix as he just saves it on the exit with a 4-wheel drive on that Subaru.
That landing was not pleasant for Mitchell. Oh, Lauren Seaver's being collected by Rasmus Toivonen behind them. This is just all incidental points, by the way, that they're getting here. You can see the live championship points on the right-hand side. No points scored in these Marwin Sports LCQs, don't forget. So those are your live points as they stand then. And John Robertson just ahead of Johan Hart.
And to the joker go a few more drivers. So Payet will appear behind de Jong. There is Jonathan Payet, joined by Luke Krause. The Canadian, Luke Krause, has joined us on Zoom today. You saw him earlier on virtual reality. Would have been a very entertaining start from his perspective. Only 1 advances, so we're going to have 2 Spaniards in the feature. No, excuse me, sorry. We've got 2 Spaniards in the feature for the first time in series history, Paul, as Perez is going to cross the line. We are going to have 3 Spaniards in your feature race, but the dramatic story of the day is that it's day done, and is it championship done for Mitchell de Jong?
It's heartbreaking for Mitchell, but you never say never in Rallycross, but that's made things extremely difficult for him out there.
certainly are. I can't believe it. Here are the results on screen. So 3 Spaniards in a feature race for the first time in iRacing Rallycross history. One of the Dreyer and Reinbold racing cars had to go home, and that was Garrett Maines. Then Rasmus Toivonen ended up in 3rd, just drove home from military service today, like we spoke about for Finland. And that set Team Gronholm IRX Subaru will be going home along with Mitchell de Jong, who could have won this championship last year. They used the same point system, missed a couple of rounds. Is it championship over? Who knows? He'll need a lot of luck to his side. And you can see the rest of the results on screen as we'll look at the grid for your second Marwin Sports LCQ. I'm going to have to do this quickly because these rallycross events, they cycle through like there's no tomorrow. So there's the grid up on screen. Take note of your favorite drivers. The drivers on the second page include Connor Parisi, Jake Robertson, and the Frenchman Kylian Delormeau. And there's been some talks, Paul, just quickly, of set drivers actually trying to sort themselves out some real-world drives for next year, but they haven't been able to say much apart from that.
Well, we'll have to keep our eyes peeled on that news, but yeah, we're just a few seconds away from the final Marwin Sports LCQ here.
Yeah, Jussi Pinamaki, Jussi Pinamaki's been hard at work, trying to help out his sim racers. They do some rallycross action in the real world too. See what they do for 2021. All focus here is on this Marwin Sports LCQ. Who is going to be the final driver to advance to the feature? Taskinen around the outside. There's no room though. He ducks to the inside, cuts off Zelensky now, and that's going to open the door for Salas. He doesn't take the Joker though in that VW Beetle. Will that prove costly for the young 18-year-old? Everybody heads through. I mean, half the field splits to the jump, half the field to the Joker.
Yeah, so again, once again, you're looking out for that Joker strategy. See how things plan out. 5 laps to get this decided here. If you're Salas right now, think about taking that Joker lap. You're on the 1.7 seconds off of Otto Taskinen at the front of the field. That would definitely put you back to the head of the field if you do take the Joker, and that's exactly what he's doing now.
Yeah, good stuff from Salas. Now, Henrik Krogstad was a did not start for this race, so you might have seen the Hanson Williams Esports Subaru missing from the grid. Salas appears, just in the lead. There's Finn Otto Taskinen, who is a race winner, is Otto Taskinen. And we talk about birthdays. Happy birthday to Otto Taskinen too. He celebrated his 27th birthday, the oldest winner in iRacing Rallycross history. Can he do the same here today? But he's going to have to make an overtake to make that feature. Can he do it in the final few corners? Look at Sindre Silva, the Norwegian, absolutely punt himself over the jump.
See the different styles of driving here. The VW very much more keeping it nice and clean, whereas the Subarus getting the back end out there. So different styles of driving out there on the dirt. Right now it's working for Salas at the front.
Vicente Salas has made 2 feature races this season, back at Daytona and Iowa, and this could be a 3rd. And wow, that's incredible. 120 kilometers an hour on the approach to the jump. 155 on the exit. That's virtual kilometers. It's not real. Otherwise, in Paul Smith's case, as we saw on Zoom, probably is real because he's at the racetrack as everybody heads through to turn 2. Look at Sindre Silva's car. So at the landing of the jump, he's almost blown the engine, you could say.
Oh, Parisi getting tagged a little bit there. There's a smoke screen reminiscent of James Bond there being thrown up. So that's not going to help the drivers behind him. But look at that. Salas to the head of the field. Zelensky and Lowe have taken to the Joker, but it's too little too late.
Great stuff from the young 18-year-old American who's had a successful karting career, hopes to make it a successful sim racing career in rallycross. All these drivers you see on screen, it's day done. Everybody's going home with nothing, and Silva's certainly not happy with that after the race. Very displeased with his performance, the Norwegian. He's made a feature this season back at Sonoma a couple of rounds ago. So here are the results on screen. Andretti Autosport. Now, Bo Albert, I'm still confused. Bo Albert's not racing today. I didn't hear news on why he's not racing, but certainly not on the grid for today's event. to at least Andretti get one of their cars into the feature. But we'll try and get word on what happened to the very popular Australian. So, that's it. I'm kidding. We've got a feature race coming up after this. 10 drivers left, and it's critical for the championship. John Robertson's made it. Johan Hart has made it. We think the championship's going down to the wire between those two. Mathematically, Horman and Ollie Kynan are still in it. But remember, there's 29 points available at the final round. We're going to preview our championship charge on the other side of this. Don't leave us. You're watching the 2020 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama. It's all coming down to this. Phoenix. We don't think the championship's going to be decided today. It's actually impossible to be decided today. We know it's going down to wine country in a fortnight's time. We'll give you all the permutations in a second, but it's Jonathan Simon alongside Paul Smith for today's coverage. Paul, man, have I enjoyed Rallycross today, but I'll tell you this much. I am breathless after an hour and a half of packed action.
Yeah, it's been a tremendous show, hasn't it? I've thoroughly enjoyed this as well, and these drivers are giving us absolutely everything out there. What more could we ask for, really? And what a feature race this promises to be as well. Championship contenders missing out with Mitchell de Jong. You've got Johan Hart, John Robertson in there, and well, don't write out others like Tommy Horman as well.
Yeah, certainly. So Tommy Horman at the moment is 31 points behind John Robertson. And after this feature, there's only 29 points left at the final round in Sonoma. We think it's championship done for Ollie Kynan, no matter what happens in this feature. But you never know, Paul. If there's a DNF, they don't score points in this feature. The championship's still going down to wine country. But critically, though, the gap between your top two, there you can see on screen, between the 86 of John Robertson and Johan Hart in the number 90 is 8 points. That could make the difference here today, depending on their feature race results.
Yeah, this is certainly going to be an intriguing end to the end of this championship. We had a great finish to last season. Of course, the first season was pretty fun to watch, but this one, it's been really intriguing because John Robertson had that advantage to start with, and Johan Hart, the rest of them have just slowly whittled that away from him, and so the pressure really is on the young driver's shoulders.
Yeah, definitely. So look out for your fins of Horman and Ollie Kynan. It's still possible, like we said, for them to potentially win this championship, but it's going to be so tough. Ollie Kynan really needs a miracle right now. Had he not missed a couple of rounds, who knows what could have happened, as the drivers now head into your feature race. So Horman and Ollie Kynan from the front. Now, Paul, your set cars have been very strong on a worn track, and the talk today at Phoenix, much like we saw in Formula One last week at Turkey, the track has made all the difference here today.
Yeah, it certainly has. These drivers, these set esports drivers, really have put the time in and the effort to work on their setups and get everything absolutely right. So definitely, this team is looking really good for this feature race here.
So here we go, feature race coming up. Tommy Hallman will start from pole position. Like we said here at at Phoenix, it's a 2x3 by 2x3 grid. He'll start alongside his teammate Joni Ollikainen. Hopefully no bust-ups between those two. How about Alexi Heikkinen starting from the second row? Can he replicate a race victory here? Will he get the Heikkinen name onto the top step of the podium? It's something his brother did here in the first ever event at Phoenix for 2018 in round number 4. And then you've got your 2 championship challengers, John Robertson and Johan Hart behind. Marcos Matamoros, oh, is it beautiful to see the Spanish student who just celebrated his 20th birthday in his first feature race of his career. Danny Matrani is in 7th. And then you've got Josh Fox in 8th. And then the third Spaniard in this feature of Adria Perez starting from the back alongside Vicente Salas. You've got 4 Volkswagen Beetles in this feature race. So, Paul, lap 1 Joker strategy is going to make all the difference, I reckon, to this feature.
Certainly is, but 10 laps, it's plenty of time to give yourself an opportunity of getting a good win. I mean, we saw in the All-Stars race about how the Joker strategy really panned out. So, yeah, these drivers certainly have to think, and their teammates, they'll have their spotter working with them, saying exactly what they need to do and when the right time is to do that.
Here we go, final feature race from Phoenix for the penultimate round of the 2020 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama. We go green for the final time. What a jump from Hallman alongside his teammate. Your Yokohama drivers have screamed across the line. The VWs are going nowhere. Those Subarus rocket off the line with all that power. In the lead is Hallman from Ollikainen. Who's going to take to the Joker the first time round? Both your set esports cars do. They're followed by what looks like one of the Team Yokohama Subarus. Oh, the set cars are overtaking each other for the lead here in the Joker.
Hallman hit the wall. That's why he was being overtaken. Now, Ollikainen is hanging back. He knows that Hallman needs the points here for the championship, but he clipped that inside wall on the Joker lap. So, drama here, but just to see whether he does have any damage from that. Doesn't appear to be so.
Now that's critical because John Robertson is your leading driver not to take the Joker. And Paul, who was held up behind them? It was Johan Hart.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Johan not in a good position right now. He's just stuck there for position, but he'll be thinking right now he's still in front. But yeah, John, as the Joker just coming out in front of John Robertson, your championship leader. So really, John right now needs to Joker this time, I feel, because I do think that he'll get held up by Alexi Heikkinen.
And Robertson to the Joker, held up by the traffic. Let's take in the live reaction, as this could potentially be critical championship points for the young 18-year-old. Where does he appear? He's ahead of his teammate, Johan Hart. Great Joker by Robertson. Hart won't be happy to see his teammate in the rear end, and he goes for the overtake on his teammate. The two collide. Hart saves it. Luckily, four-wheel drive on those Subarus helps him pointing it back the right way around, but it could be a podium for Robertson, 4th place for Hart, and a few points extra of a buffer for Robertson going into Sonoma.
I think the people representing Yokohama won't be liking seeing the two Yokohama cars going at each other like that. But there's a championship involved here, and Johan seems to be just struggling a little bit with his car now.
Yeah, so has he picked up potential damage from the clash with John Robertson? It's all simulated here on the iRacing service. Now he's got a hungry Josh Fox behind. Daniel Matrani, the Spaniard, too. Vicente Salas is out of the race, so unfortunately for the American, he won't improve on his career best result of 9th. Now, has there been issues for Alexei Hakkinen? We heard in the background. There's the VW you saw in the background. Here's Johan Hart at the bottom of the screen. And I think he's got issues, Paul. You're correct.
Yeah, he just doesn't seem to have the... Although saying that, he was only 0.2 of a second off of his teammate last lap. So I think whatever it is, he's managing that and doing a good job of managing it as well.
So Matamoros Salas is out of the race. Matamoros is yet to take the Joker. Now Hart is starting to pick up the pace. 9/10 the gap to his teammate. Horman and Ollie Kynan. This is a reminiscent, Paul, of Daytona. Remember when Horman kept it clean, didn't want to cost his teammate victory. Ollie Kynan's probably paying his teammate a favor here, just like his teammate did at Daytona.
Yeah, exactly that. And Tommy Horman, he's done everything right, hasn't he, this week in the series. Just clipping that inside wall on the Joker is about the only thing he's done wrong so far. But look at how those two Set Esports cars just land off the jump there. Really, really solid. Nicely poised to those two cars as well. They've got that Subaru absolutely singing.
So championship challenge right now. Robertson and Hart, 10 points between the two heading to the final round if they finish in their current positions. Horman and Ollie Kynan, mathematically, we think Horman's still in contention for the championship heading at Sonoma. He'll be matched with De Jong on points. And De Jong will also be mathematically in contention, but it'll almost be impossible. So it's really going to go down to your Team Yokohama drivers. What a scrap this has been so far here at Phoenix. The worn track has made all the difference, and Set Esports have taken advantage of this, and it's going to be another Set Esports 1-2.
Don't call it yet. Don't give them the curse of the commentator, that's for sure. But they do look to be absolutely dead set at the front of your field. Pun very much intended there as they go through. Just again, look at everywhere they want them cars to be pointing. They are getting that car exactly where they want it to be. Matamoros has taken to the Joker, by the way, so he's moving forward.
How about that? Never made a feature, and where's he going to appear on the exit? In the 6th position, right ahead of his fellow Spaniard, Adria Perez. Please don't collide, fellas. This will be some good results for both teams. Josh Fox is going to score a top 5. Good result for Josh Fox. As we enter the final lap, how about this? Horman remains in championship contention. It might be out of reach just by a touch. But it's going to be a Set Esports 1-2, and they deserve it. The worn track has played in their favor, and a second career victory for Tommy Horman as he wins round number 8 from Phoenix. Ollie Kynan comes home in 2nd. John Robertson critically onto the podium in 3rd, extends his championship advantage, and almost collided. Oh, they have collided after the race. Johan Hart is just trying to park his Advan Subaru and off the racetrack. There are the celebrations from Finn Tommy Horman. Luckily, Paul, with all the damage they probably sustained post-race, it's only a virtual repair.
Yeah, absolutely. Thankfully, these drivers don't have to pay for the repairs on these cars. But yeah, it's certainly a brilliant performance from Tommy Horman. Not only pole position, a win in the heat, but then there you go, the hat-trick completed with the win here.
Wow, what a race, what an event here from Phoenix. Horman with a victory, the 2nd of his career, and another victory for Set Esports. 5th career victory for Set Esports. Joni Ollie Kynan comes home in 2nd. It's another 1-2 for the team. John Robertson in 3rd with another podium to his name, with Johan Hart in the 4th position. Then you've got Josh Fox in 5th. Josh Fox with the top 5. And we've spoken about how impressive his performances have been this year. Josh Fox tends to finish seasons off strong, does the Williams Esports driver, also representing Yellow Squad and Hanson Williams Esports this year. Marcos Matamoros, happy birthday, congratulations. A career best result for your Spaniard. Adria Perez for Dreyer and Reinbold comes home in 7th, and another feature appearance for him. And Daniel Matrani with his first feature appearance of the season. The oldest driver in the field brings the Subaru home in 8th. He was sandwiched by a few Volkswagens there on the results page, with Alexei Heikkinen couldn't replicate his brother's victory that he had here in 2018, but still brought that Burton Kligerman Esports car home for some good points. The first time for that team, for Burton Kligerman Esports, that they've had 2 cars in the feature. And then you had the Andretti Autosport Volkswagen Beetle of Vicente Salas coming home in 10th, but a DNF to his name after he retired in the first couple of laps of this race. So I'm going to speak to your top 3 after this. We're going to take a breather here for a second, and we are going to wrap up everything from Phoenix on the other side of this. Don't leave us.
Take your driving to the next level at Dirtfish. Gain confidence behind the wheel of an all-wheel drive Subaru STI or rear-wheel drive BRZ. Get sideways with skills on gravel, mud, and tarmac. Dirtfish offers programs for every driver. Visit dirtfish.com for details.
Today's new cars have upwards of 100 computers in them and a dashboard rivaled only by a commercial airliner. But wouldn't it be nice to really know what all that does for you?
At Roadshow, we demystify the world of modern transportation with reviews of your next car, the latest news on what's changing the industry, and videos covering every screen and every new feature you'll encounter in the driver's seat.
Get informed, get smart, and get going with Roadshow.
All right, wow. Well, that wasn't enough of a breather for me as we are about to wrap up here from the commentary booth for round number 8 of the 2020 IRX World Championship presented by Yokohama. Wow. I can't believe that. The drama, the racing action, the spoils, the thrills, there was so much of it. We're going to speak to Tommy Horman, who took home his 2nd career victory for SET Esports. Tommy, I'm going to start with this for you. The worn track, now we know you're talented, but the worn track certainly today helped you guys out there at SET.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was big advantage already in qualifying for us. And then, of course, the pace in the feature was good. But yeah, that was a crazy one. I made a massive mistake in the beginning of the feature. I think it was with something to do with the cold tires because the grip at the first lap was really low on tarmac, but then it came back after that, and luckily the car survived the incident with the wall on the choker.
Yeah, we saw that, and you ended up holding up your teammate. Johan Harth was sort of held up a little bit, you could say, too, but hey, end of the day, man, it didn't matter. We talked about the result, the 1-2 for SET, and it reminded me back at Daytona, man, where you helped Yoni to victory. You didn't want to sort of hamper him too much and sort of make an overtake and maybe cost him victory. He seemed to pay the favor today again here at Phoenix.
Yeah. The big thanks to Jonne. I know he could have passed me there in the choker exit, but I think he also knew that there's some risk with to have a collision when we were side by side. So big thanks to Jonne. It was very clever driving from him, and yeah, but that was crazy.
And there's never been a hat trick at Phoenix, but mate, you're the first one. Well done. Qualifying pole, heat victory, feature victory. First person in history to do it at Phoenix.
Yeah, thanks. It's amazing. Big thanks to SET Esports and every one of my partners and team partners. It was just a mega race, and also my spotter, he did a brilliant job. So everything worked well today, and it was enough.
And do you want to hear some championship permutations for you? So this is unofficial. We are not going to confirm this, but we think, according to our calculations, you're still in contention for the championship heading into Sonoma. Now, you're going to need a miracle, man, but you're in contention.
Yeah, I think it's more about getting into the top 3 now, but it's going to be hard as well. But I think it's more possible than the champions. It's quite far to get the win, but of course we will go flat out there and hope for the best.
Yeah, you're actually now, again, unofficially, we think you're matched with Mitchell on points now. So that means you're tied for third at the moment, but you have more victories. So we think on the tiebreaker, you currently have third. You've already done it.
Okay, nice. That's good news. That's good news. But okay, still one round to go, so
yeah, still
can't
show
really
up.
breathe yet.
And talk about that too. So you got a fortnight's break now. That's going to help you guys just take a breather, get a bit more practice in, because it's been a strenuous 7 rounds in a row, hasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. It's good to have a break. It has been long nights all the 2 months now, so good to get some sleep and then come back stronger in Sonoma.
All right, certainly, Tommy. Congratulations. Second career victory from you. And we will certainly see more of those in Rallycross history for sure. We're going to leave you to it. Congratulations to him. And we're going to speak to his teammate who came home in second. And that's Joni Ollikainen with another podium to his name. Joni, I've got to say, first off, man, it's finally good to see you back on the podium. And again, you've had some bad luck this year. You could have been up there for the championship, but hey, end of the day, it's good to see you guys where you belong in 1-2.
Yeah, thanks. That was really a perfect race for us as a team. Of course, I was thinking about trying to overtake Tommy, but then I just thought that I'm gonna play it safe and take a good result for the team, not risk anything.
We thought you were being nice like Tommy was at Daytona and not trying to, cause any troubles between the two. You should have gone with that, man. You would look like a better teammate.
Yeah, I think it was maybe something like paying back from Daytona as there in Daytona, Tommy didn't do any moves or something for me. So yeah, I just played it safe.
Now, I don't mean to break some bad news to you, and you probably weren't thinking about this too much, but you're officially out of the championship hunt. Do you want to pick up, well, I'm not going to say do you want to pick up a win, but how easy is it going to be for you guys to pick up a win at Sonoma? Do you think it's possible? Maybe not easy, but do you think that if Sonoma has similar track conditions to today, that Set can potentially 1-2 at Sonoma again?
Yeah, I think it's possible. I am not sure, but I think track conditions will be pretty same in Sonoma like it was now. So I think that's a good thing for us and will help us in trying to get another win.
All right, Joni, we'll leave you to it, man. Congratulations. Another podium, the first one since Sonoma. Maybe we'll see you back to victory lane like we saw at Daytona in a week's time. We're going to speak to John Robertson last, who is our championship leader. John, you finally, now I can't remember the last time you did this, but you finally extended your championship lead for once.
Yeah, it feels nice. Obviously had a pretty terrible qualifying, but same for Johan and Mitchell as well. So really just wanted a solid feature race, which we got. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, we couldn't believe it coming out of qualifying. Your set cars were insane. They scored the 1-2. We knew they were going to be quick on the worn track. I was very surprised that both yourself and your teammate Johan Harth were so far down the order. What did you put that down to?
I'm not really sure. We just didn't execute. We've done so much practice this week on that, and it just when it came down to it, we didn't execute on the lap. We'll definitely have a look at it. I think Sonoma is going to be similar conditions, so we'll need to try and fix it for sure.
By the way, we saw at least behind the scenes, we saw a brilliant reaction from you when you took the Joker in the heat, and we weren't sure whether you were laughing or smiling at you appearing in a good transfer position, or whether you were laughing at your brother who was launched over the anti-cut strip. I'm not sure if you caught that in the mirror.
No, I didn't see that. I'll have to look back at it.
Well, last thing I got to ask you now. So 10 points the gap between yourself and your teammate Johan Harth. You guys launched and rocketed off the lines today. Your starts aren't the issue. Qualifying is going to be all the focus, man. Now, the championship can't be wrapped up in qualifying. We know that. But if Johan grabs pole and you make a mockery of qualifying, you qualify 11th, he's got 6 points on you.
Yeah, I mean, after this, we got a 2-week break, so I'm just going to spend that whole 2 weeks thinking about all the different permutations for the championship. But we just need a solid result. I've got a 10-point gap, so I'm going on the front foot. But I just need to perform.
And final thing, actually, just quickly, so there would be relief as well that Mitchell and Tommy are so unrealistically in the fight too. They had a bad round today. Obviously, you're not sort of, I don't want to say, how can I put this? Like, you don't want to see them do badly, but you also don't want to see them beat you, if that makes sense. It's a good thing for you, right, that they're not putting pressure on you guys.
Yeah, it's nice to go in with such a big gap. Going into this, Mitchell was so close, so yeah, me and Jan just wanted to kind of keep the gap the same if possible to Mitchell going into the last round. But yeah, we've pretty much locked out the top 2 now, which is nice. We can go into that ahead.
All right, lovely. John, we're going to leave you to it. Potentially in 2 weeks' time, we could be speaking to you just like we are right now as champion. That's going to be a brilliant thing. So good luck to John in a couple of weeks' time. Now, Paul Smith, we are going to wrap up here very quickly. Oh, man, we have been on a virtual flyaway, Paul, for 7 weeks in a row, and we finally get a break here. It's going to be a fortnight's time to wine country in Sonoma.
Yeah, got a bit of a break now, and wow, I actually have a Saturday off. That's highly unusual here, but it's been a whirlwind of a season, and absolutely non-stop with the action, and it's been pretty much on the whole really, really good rallycross action, and I'm looking forward to that final. The Sonoma track is my favourite of all the rallycross venues, and I know it's a lot of the drivers' favourite as well. So next time out, 2 weeks time, it'll be fun.
Certainly will. I can't wait for it. Who's going to be our champion? John Robertson, Johan Harth are realistically in contention. Will it go down to some luck? Maybe Mitchell de Jong or Tommy Horman can win the championship. We'll find out shortly. It's going to be a cracker of a finish, and it's going to take place on the 5th of December. We're going to head to December 2020. Boy, has this year flown by. A fortnight until we head to Sonoma. That's the final round of the championship here. The iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama, with all coverage on the iRacing Esports Network. Just where you watch the coverage today, we'll be back on live in a fortnight's time. Thanks to everybody as well who watched the coverage today, I should say, for enjoying it and joining in on the comment sections too. It's always great to see a lot of coverage, a lot of people watch, and we've had hundreds of thousands, over millions of views across the course of this season for both the All-Stars and the Sim Races. Thanks to our series partners, Yokohama, Marwin Sports, and Dirtfish 2. And thanks to Paul Smith alongside me. Thanks to Tyler Maxon on production, Gary Weaver as well, our RaceBot team alongside Chris Leone, Tyler Hudson, Drew Adamson from iRacing, and our entire production crew behind the scenes. And from myself, Jonathan Simon, man, I hope you enjoyed today's action. And if you didn't, we're going to have a cracker of a finish to the championship in Sonoma. Our winner today was Tommy Horman, the second of his career for SET Esports. We say so long from Phoenix.